Hey everybody. I don't know how this is going to come out. Probably not too good, this video, but none of my videos ever come out that good. This is being done in a one-shot thing on the fly, no editing. I don't know how many of you people have ever heard of the Flxible company, but it says here it's actually, you're supposed to pronounce it as flexible. And this is off of Wiki. It's a company that was established in 1913 and they closed the doors in 1996 and they made buses. Ah, damn it. There you go. Hold on. But along with, the buses they made, as you can see, there are funeral cars, ambulances, intercity coaches, and all. They made a lot of stuff. And what I'm doing is, I've said for a long time I was going to make a video about my 59 Buick Hearse that was made by Flxible. And I didn't know this till today. I didn't, I just started looking up some stuff, or maybe I knew it and forgot it. But they were located in Loudonville. I think that's how you pronounce it, Ohio. That's kind of strange. Is Youngstown, Ohio, is where my that Bonnie 2 convertible I got was built. And I looked it up to see if they were close by, because it says here, hold on. Yeah, Youngstown's about, I think about 100 miles to the east of Loudonville. But the Flxible company used primarily Buicks to, build their chassis, to build this stuff on. But they also did, as it says, they occasionally used Studebakers. And they had a big factory. You had to have big factory if you're making buses. But let's get on to the Hearse story, okay? Enough of this. By the way, I did look up Buick Flxible, Hearse's Flxible on the internet, and I found two pictures of a 59, and they look like pictures that were taken around 1959, of one of the back door and one of a full view. Looked like California out in the background. The story began at Fort Hood, Texas, and I just found out at this exact moment, today is like February 2nd, that they renamed Fort Hood Fort Cavazos. I don't even know. This is news to me, but we were stationed at Fort Hood, me and my wife, and it was like 1 a.m. in the morning, December 31st, 1982, that we got in our car, 73 Olds 88, and headed for Fort Rucker, Alabama. And we would arrive at Fort Rucker. Holy shit, it says the name Fort Rucker is officially no more. And that's 9 months ago. So I guess they've changed the name of Fort Rucker to something else. It doesn't say. Anyways, we got to Fort Rucker December 31st. I don't know, it was about 5, 6 in the evening. We pulled into Daleville and we stayed in the Daleville Inn. When we left Fort Hood, my wife was full term 9 months pregnant. Drove from Fort Hood to Fort Rucker. It's a pretty good long drive, a lot of lonely roads, but we made it. No cell phones back then. That's just how the way you did stuff. And so the next morning is January 1st. The fort's basically closed down. I had orders to go there to become an air traffic controller. It was after Reagan had fired the controllers, and I thought I'd make myself a career out of it. And I signed in, and I took my wife. They said, you need to take your wife over to the hospital and get a doctor and set up, because she was due any moment. And I did, the day after, that would have been January 2nd in 1982. And we went and rented a little trailer. This is in Daleville, Alabama, at the Wildwood Trailer Courts, as it was called. And we, to make a long story short, I signed in, and my first day of orientation to start school, I come home and she says, I need to go to the hospital. And I took her and we got there. And on the way to the hospital, we go by a funeral home, Holman's Funeral Home. And I see this hearse sitting out in the back. And I says, whoa, that thing looks bad. And I didn't, well, she had our first daughter January 4th. So we arrived there New Year's Eve, and 4 days later, she gave birth to a 9-pound, 3-ounce baby in Ozark, Alabama. That's where the funeral home was. But she had the baby at the hospital, of course. And our first daughter, she weighed 9 pounds, 3 ounces when she was born. That's in Dale County. And they said that was possibly a record childbirth weight there, but they didn't have statistics, but they said they didn't remember any kid hitting 9 pounds on the scale that was being born. Well, enough of that. If you look up Flxible, that's how it's spelt on YouTube, you're going to see lots and lots of their buses. And they have a Flxible club, and they have Flxible get-togethers. And if you've ever been to a car show, you know sometimes it's kind of hard to park. Can you imagine going to a bus show? And they got big bus shows of these things, and people love them. And you might want to check out the buses. I did look at them some. They're awesome. They're awesome. So keep that in mind. Okay, here's a picture. This is at the Wildwood Trailer Court where this picture was taken. Of course, it's the inside of the hearse. There was big holes in the floorboards. It had been sitting, they said, for like 13 years out in the behind the funeral home in a cow pasture. Oh, come on. There's the trailer we were staying in. There's a pretty good shot of it. I mean, she was running and rolling. It had no reverse in it when I got it. That's me, and if you could see it good, you could see my feet sticking out down there, but the picture came out too dark. And that's on the way. We left, after I finished school at Fort Rucker, I'd done enough work where I felt safe driving across the country. Well, now we got orders and we went to Fort Bragg. And that's where I started work on it. That's the roof. We painted it in the backyard. Here's another shot of it at the Wildwood Trailer Park in Daleville, Alabama. This here's now at Hope Mills, North Carolina. It's where I bought our first home. Little house. We went and looked at the house a couple years ago. We drove back up. There was like 900 square foot home, but it was home, you know. And it was a nice backyard. There were no leaves and trees and stuff blowing around when I painted the car. We redid the interior. The pictures don't do it justice. It was in a lot sorrier shape than what you're seeing here. They pulled that torque tube out and all that and cleaned them all up and painted them. And I wanted this thing to look like new for a backyard job. That's me, and that's, you know, you can see she's not a baby anymore. She weighs more than 9 pounds, too. Like I says, no particular, that's the Wildwood Trailer Park again. That's at that hotel. That was in our Darlington, South Carolina. And that's the 73 Olds we had. There's the car and little one helping Daddy. Daleville, Alabama picture. You can see the 73 Olds behind it. There's a picture of her at one of these on the internet, and it's exactly like that, except you can see curtains in the back. Not of this one. There she is, all in red primer. And the back glass windows, I was scared to death of that. One of them had gotten broke. There was no way I was going to find something to replace it. Here's an original piece of the interior. That's a shot after it's been painted. Here's some news I dug out of, I don't remember how I got this, to be honest with you. Actually, yeah, I got it from the guy that I sold it to. From the factory, you know. The man I sold it to drove down from Rugby, North Dakota, geographical center of North America, and bought it. He was a funeral parlor director, and he collected Hearse. 59 Buicks was his thing. He had a slew of them. If you go and look these cars up on YouTube and the internet, there is nothing available. It was an Invicta body that they built this on. I got orders to go overseas, so I started running ads to sell it. That's what asking price was, and that was in 1985. And I didn't get that. I got screwed on this car bad. I forgot to mention, they only made 49 of these cars. There was only 49 of them ever built. And I sold it to the guy. His name was Dale Neowiener, the funeral director parlor up there in Rugby, North Dakota. He got it for $2,000. This is a picture. You know, he knew how to get around, talk to people, and he contacted this company, and they sent him all these pictures. That's the Flxible company you can see there, and that's one coming out the door, getting ready to go, back when they were brand new. That's a picture of it out in front of my house where we were living in Hope Mills, North Carolina. Second daughter was born there at the Cape Fear Hospital in Fayetteville. This is a Flxible factory picture of the car, as they would be showing it to possible funeral directors who would want to buy one of these in '59. This picture is actually on the internet. Here's an inside shot of the factory, believe it or not. Isn't that something? And they made these in 1960 also, and if you look at the movie, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, you'll see a '60 Buick ambulance drive by. It's during the scene where the Three Stooges show up in a fire truck. I did join the Professional Car Society. That's an old magazine of theirs from 1986. Says their Babe Ruth's funeral. What's crazy is Babe Ruth actually hit his first home run in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Now that's crazy. There's a Pontiac. I think that's a Pontiac Hearse. Might be an old. I don't know. Now that's a nice shot. Professional Car Magazine. I gotta look through these again sometime. Maybe I'll make a video showing the insides of these. Henny Packard. While we're at it, there's another Hearse I owned, a '73 Caddy. Drove that down to Daytona Beach, in '97. Bike week. Well, the man that bought it from me drove it from Fayetteville, North Carolina, all the way up to Rugby, North Dakota. He said it drove like a cloud, $2,000. And there's a picture of him with it. He got himself a trophy. I'm going to show you some other pictures of the car when it was out in the backyard. Front yard. Another shot out in the front yard. Now this picture I'm particularly proud of. That's the Golden Knights aircraft. And, you know, I went to air traffic control school at Fort Rucker, and then I got to Fort Bragg, and this is out at Simmons Army Airfield. near the tower, and that's where they kept that Golden Knights, you know, the jump, do the parachute jumps. I'm extra proud of this. It made the Buick Bugle, even, you know, after he bought the car. And you can probably pause this and read it. He gives me credit for restoring it. And it was so nice. It made the front cover of the Buick Bugle, July 1987. My car that I sold for $2,000, that they only made 49 of them. I cry every time I think about it. But that's life, man. I needed the money. We got orders. We were heading back overseas. We had 2 kids now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you like this. There is some history here.